Hello, welcome to the Noble Motherhood YouTube channel. I am so honored and overjoyed that you are here. There is a reason why you are here today, whether that's because you are pregnant and preparing for that postpartum fourth trimester season, or you are just curious and wanting to gain knowledge about postpartum preparation. But let me introduce myself first. My name is Hope Noble. I am a wife of 6 years to my husband Benjamin, and we have 3 little boys, ages 5, 3, and just about 10 months here. So obviously with having 3 little boys, I have walked through the postpartum season 3 times now, and I can honestly tell you with all confidence that my third postpartum was by far my easiest and most enjoyable and peaceful. And that is exactly why I am here talking to you today about postpartum preparation. It is one of the passions of my heart truly to equip moms who are expecting, to equip you, perhaps that you are expecting your first or your third or fourth little one. It is truly a passion of my heart to help moms understand in their minds and in their hearts that they can have a peaceful and restful postpartum season. So I want to first jump into my postpartum experiences so that you understand what I came from with my very first postpartum to all the way to my third, and how drastic of a difference it has been for me. And then I want to equip you with a good handful of tools today that you can implement into your postpartum preparations. Whether you're in your first trimester of pregnancy, second or third trimester of pregnancy, these tools, you will have the ability to grab a hold of them, write them down, and start to implement them today as you prepare for your little one's arrival. So, like I said, my name is Hope, and I have been through 3 postpartum experiences now. And my very first experience was in 2020 with our firstborn. And yes, that was a very intense, crazy year for everyone. Let's just put it that way. Very short and simple. But adding on top of that, having a baby during that 2020 year was exponentially more difficult because there was a lot of isolation amongst people. But negate that fact for all moms who had a baby during 2020. My postpartum experience was significantly difficult because I always say to moms, like when I'm out and about and when I'm talking to moms at playgrounds or wherever we are, if I'm having a conversation with another mom about postpartum, the one thing that I say all of the time is that no one can equip you for being needed 24/7 as a brand new mom. And that was the thing that shook me to my core with our first son. Nothing prepared me for the nighttime wakings, for me being exclusively, because I'm the mother and I was nursing him, for being needed all the time. There was a lot of tears. There was a lot of frustration. There was a lot of anger that I dealt with. There was a lot of confusion about this brand new season that I had entered into with my husband. But I felt like I didn't have the tools. I felt like I didn't have any guide. I felt like I was just in the ocean without a life preserver, and every day I felt like I was drowning. And that is the number one thing that I don't want you or another mom feeling. I don't want you to feel like you're drowning in postpartum. Postpartum is supposed to be, yes, it does have its challenges, but postpartum it should be one of the most wonderful, peaceful times for a mom, for a brand new mom, or a mom who has had multiple children. And why do I say this? Our culture has made postpartum to be a time where mom has to heal fast, has to get back on her feet very quickly, has to take on all of the extra tasks or go back to work really fast. And I just want to debunk all of the cultural lies that tell moms that you have to heal fast to be able to get back to your normal everyday routine. And why do I say that? It's because after having a baby, your life will never be the same again, Mom. Mama, your life will never be the same again after having your little one. Your life is going to look completely different. And that is God's design. And I want you to sit in that right now. That is God's design, that your life and who you are is going to change completely. And that is a beautiful and wonderful thing, to take on this new mantle of motherhood, because your old self is no more. Your new self in motherhood requires sacrifice, daily sacrifice for your baby and for your other children that you may have. And that is a beautiful and wonderful thing. So, first of all, I want to debunk all the cultural lies that tell you postpartum has to be a very quick recovery and healing process. I want to tell you today that postpartum, and I'm talking about those first 2 to 3 months postpartum, you should give yourself full permission to rest as much as possible and to be okay with saying no to the other things that are going to make you feel anxious and more stressed. You can say no and be more aware of your limitations, being really in tune with your limitations. That postpartum season is given to you as a gift to be able to rest after growing your baby for 9 months and taking on all of the physical limitations that pregnancy naturally causes, right? It is for you, postpartum is for you to be able to enjoy your baby and to be able to get to know your baby, and for your baby to get to know you, so that you can walk through with peace and confidence and joy. And yes, challenges will always be there. But the number one thing I say is that challenges and joy can be held on the same level. You can have challenges and you can have joy. You can have difficulty and you can have peace on the same ground. So I want to go back to my first postpartum experience. And the reason why that was so difficult for me was because I felt like I had to be super wife and super mom. I felt like I had to heal quickly to be able to do it all. And you know what I'm talking about. And that mindset was very limiting for me. And it did not allow me to heal quickly, actually. It derailed my healing by weeks, because I was unwilling to slow down, and I was unwilling to communicate to my husband with what I needed. I was unwilling to lay aside my own expectations in my mind, and that was my pride getting in the way. So there are a lot of things to my postpartum experience with my firstborn that were difficult, but I just want to focus right now on the fact that I was unwilling to rest, and as I was unwilling and unable to communicate to my husband what I needed to be able to truly enjoy that time. So now let's jump to my second postpartum and my my third postpartum, which was about 10 months ago now. Those two postpartums were completely different. And the few reasons why was because I asked for a lot of help. I prepared weeks and weeks and weeks in advance. My family, my in-laws, came both times to help for a week or two during that postpartum, which was huge. That was also something that was very different in my postpartum experiences. I prepped a lot of meals and snacks and put them in our freezer. Me and my husband had multiple conversations with each other about how things would look, and having those conversations before postpartum were very helpful when the stresses of life were naturally very there, and sleep deprivation was our everyday reality at that point. So my postpartum experiences were very, very different and drastic. And I would say, like again, my third postpartum 10 months ago was by far my easiest. I healed quickly because I rested a lot. And I had so much more joy and peace because I let go of all of the expectations I put on myself to be super mom to my other two children while also having an infant. I just let it go. I let the house be a mess. I had one area of our home that needed to be picked up at the end of every day. And that was peaceful for me. That was really peaceful for me to know that one room was always going to be tidy and picked up. That was our bedroom. This was my sanctuary during those first weeks that everything was kind of like up in the air and upside down and left was right. And so I wanted to be able to share with you that there is a way to go from having a postpartum experience that was really painful emotionally and physically and exhausting to now jumping forward to having multiple children and having a very peaceful experience. And yes, I will say that some of that comes with time. As moms, we learn and we grow through having multiple kids, through having multiple births, multiple postpartums, right? We learn with time. But my heart is for all of the new moms watching this, that you will understand through the tools that I give you of being able to tell you, you can, even as a first-time mom, you can have a peaceful fourth trimester and walk into motherhood with confidence and assurance and peace. Okay, so the meat per se of this video is for me to give you a handful of tools today, a handful of tools that you can implement to start preparing for your postpartum experience. Okay, the number one tool I'm going to give you is nourishing your body. Food, I cannot stress enough to you, food and your consumption of like what you're drinking to hydrate yourself is by far one of the absolute musts that I need to repeat to you. I want you in the next couple weeks or whenever your due date is, but whenever, if you're in your first, second, third trimester, I want you in the next couple of weeks to write down 2 breakfast options for yourself, 2 lunch options, and 2 dinner options that you can make ahead of time and put in your freezer if you have an extra freezer. If you don't have that much space, just start with 1 or start with 2. 2 breakfast options like breakfast sandwiches, baked oatmeal that you can make ahead and tuck away in your freezer. And you're going to go ahead and label those with what it is and the date and throw them in the freezer. The same thing with lunch. Whatever it is, you can make double up your meals or make something extra special that you want to have tucked away. So lunches around here are very simple for our family. It can be leftovers or a hot sandwich, a panini type, or a cold sandwich. Those are pretty easy to get together. But in postpartum, when lunchtime hits, I always feel like when lunchtime hits, it's like, what in the world do I eat? What do I have time to make? So making something ahead of time, like a soup or a stew or a casserole, is extremely helpful. So write down 2 things that you want to make that you can tuck away, right? 2 breakfasts and 2 lunches. The same thing with dinner. I want you to write down 2 things that you want to go ahead and make for dinner for postpartum, and you're going to make those and tuck them away in your freezer. The same thing with snacks. I want you to think about the snacks that you currently eat in pregnancy that are filling for you and something that you crave that you would love to have during postpartum. Go ahead and just buy that now. Go ahead and buy those protein bars, macro bars. I love macro bars so much. Or you can make homemade granola bars that Pinterest has a ton of links for. Go ahead and buy that and tuck it away in your closet right now. Go ahead and make that granola bar that you want and tuck it away in your freezer, right? We have to slowly start to prepare for postpartum. You cannot watch this video and take a hold of all the tools I'm giving you and try to do this all in 1 week. You're going to be so overwhelmed. So I want you to do one thing at a time, 1 meal at a time. And slowly but surely that burden or that weight that feels heavy in preparing is going to start to diminish more and more as you prepare for food, prepare for what kind of electrolytes are you going to drink during postpartum, and even now, pregnancy. I am addicted to Element, and I'm not an affiliate, I'm not at all, but I preach Element all the time to my friends on my Instagram. I love Element so much, so you can look into them also. Okay, the other tool that I want to give you is about communication with your spouse, with your husband. And I know that communication while you're pregnant can be actually extremely difficult, and I don't say that with any, I say that as a mom, as a woman who knows full on how difficult communication can be when our hormones are changing and raging, and we are naturally, our mind is more focused on the growth of our baby and our baby coming than we are about the specific things that we need to talk about with our spouse. But today I want you to think about the question, what do I want my postpartum experience to look like? And I want you to go ahead and write down that question and your answer at some point in the next week. What do I want my postpartum experience to look like? And I want you to go ahead and communicate that question, that answer to your spouse. And I also want you to ask your husband the same question. Is what does he imagine the postpartum experience on his end to look like? And have him answer that question. And have your answers start to open up a door to further conversation with each other of your expectations, of other questions you may have, of fears that you may have. Let that be a foundation for a door to open in communication with your spouse, because that's going to be key to you both walking forward in more peace and less anxiety. Okay, the third tool that I want to give you is the ability to think about putting together for yourself a postpartum care basket. And for moms who do, this is like your multiple pregnancy, you will understand what I'm talking about. But for the first time mom, I want to clarify what that is. A postpartum care basket for yourself is, I always put together 2. I always put together one for the bathroom that has all the essentials of what I need as far as pads, throwaway underwear that's extremely helpful, that I will link in this video for you so that you have the links to Amazon. It includes a perineal bottle, tucks, and then your perineal spray. That typically I've always gone with Earth Mama for that one. That's for the bathroom. Now for the bedroom, right by my bed, I always have a basket full of snacks, and extra water bottles is a huge one. Huge. You may not think that extra water bottles is going to be helpful, but when life is busy and your husband needs to take care of other children, or he's just not around, he's working, or you're dying of thirst because you're so thirsty while you're nursing. If you're nursing, it's just so incredibly helpful to have extra water bottles handy so you don't have to get up and refill your water bottle. So I always have snacks, extra water bottles. I always have things like tissue, lip balm, some gum. If I don't chew gum, but maybe you do. Some gum. I always have a couple of magazines that I want to read, because in those early weeks in that second week of postpartum, it is really enjoyable to have something fun to read, or maybe a journal by your bedside, so that when baby is sleeping on you, baby's sleeping on the bassinet, that you have something fun to read while you are healing. So that is number 3, is I want you to start to think about your bathroom basket that you need to prepare for yourself, and a basket for your bedroom by your bedside that you can prepare for yourself, or ask a family member, ask a friend who loves you and wants to help you prepare, that's something that they can do for you as you draw near to your baby's arrival. And then the 4th and final thing that I want to equip you with is I want you to think about a baby carrier that you're going to feel comfortable with carrying your baby, whether it's around the house or in public. So this can be a cloth carrier, a cloth wrap, truly, or a baby carrier like a Ergo baby. I want you to maybe start to ask some friends about what has been helpful for them. Amazon obviously has great options, but there are different styles of carriers that some moms prefer over others. And then there's cloth wraps that are more preferred over others. So ask your friends, ask family members, ask other moms that have already been through this season, if you're a new mom, and what they prefer. If you are a mom who, this is like your multiple children, make sure that you have a carrier. Like, have you thrown yours away? Did you give yours away? Where is it in the house? Just make sure that you have it and that you feel ready to go. And now, typically, I will preface it in saying this, that I do not carry my babies until I am good and ready physically. It pretty much is about a month after birth that I start to carry my babies everywhere. Especially during my 2nd and 3rd postpartum. That was how I survived and how I did life. How I went to the bathroom. How I did tasks around the house. How I operated in public spaces. Carrying your baby has so many benefits, and I just want to be able to share this information with you, whether you're a new mom or becoming a mom all over again. The baby wearing is so beneficial for you and baby in the postpartum season. So if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe to Noble Motherhood. I will leave all of the links to the postpartum bathroom basket in the description below, so that you have those links to things that you can purchase ahead of time. And if you are looking to do a deep dive into postpartum preparation, I have created a simple but extensive ebook that you can purchase on our website at noblemotherhood.com. This 30+ ebook will guide you through all of these tools that I've already shared with you, but adding on and going so much deeper into postpartum preparation. And the most exciting part of the ebook is the extensive meal preparation guide that I have clearly laid out so that you can nourish your food so well during the postpartum season. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.